One fine morning, you wake up from your bed and you see a bad looking rash which hurts, which burns. Go to your doctor and he says that's because of a chicken pox in your childhood. And the obvious question arises, come on man, why should I suffer from the same virus multiple times in my lifetime? And that's the chickenpox virus. Let's talk something about it. Chickenpox is caused by a virus called as varicella zoster virus, which is a DNA virus which comes to one person to other person by close contact or through shingles or through the aerosol contact. It comes from one person to other person easily. A significant number of persons can get affected. The secondary attack rate, that means when the population is naive and it doesn't have any immunity, more than 95% of the population can get affected with this virus. So once you get into this your body, it stays there for about 10 to 21 days. Within that time, you can get the disease. It starts off as a simple virus fever. You have malaise, you have fever, you feel weak, and the next 3 days you start seeing the rash in your scalp, face, the trunk and abdomen. It starts spreading. That's called as the centripetal distribution of these rashes. And these rashes don't come at once. They come in crops. Today you've had few, tomorrow you'll have few, and the next day you will have some more rashes. This is called as coming in crops. That's a typical nature of this chickenpox. These chickenpox rashes are almost always unmistakable. Once you have seen it, you will not miss it. These start off as red looking rashes, increase in size, may have filled out with water, they may burst open, they may dry up to form a scab, and which falls off by about 10 days. This is the typical timeline of these rashes. These generally would not leave scar behind, but those areas may have less pigment or sometimes may have increased pigmentation in that area. And these chickenpox diseases can also occur in adults, more so in a tropical country. If it happens so, those ones can leave a permanent scar on your face. Chickenpox as such is a simple disease. Way back in before the 1995, almost every one of us got the disease and nobody had any problems. Then why am I talking about that? That's because few people are susceptible for the severe diseases. There are children who do not have enough capability to fight against the viruses, which could be acquired or inborn. They have very severe disease, they also can die. There are some other set of children, those who are on chemotherapy or on a long-term steroid therapy, pregnant and newborns. That means when a mother gets the disease before 5 days of delivery or right after 2 days of delivery, these kids can have very, very severe disease, and which may also can lead to progressive chickenpox and can also cause death. There may be associated complications even with a simple chickenpox. Once the skin is breached, there is always a possibility of secondary bacterial infection in those areas. They become red, the fever continues to persist beyond 48 hours. As a rule, you would not expect fever after 48 hours. In those kids, the fever continues to persist. At that time, secondary bacterial infection has to be suspected. Varicella encephalitis, that means varicella brain infections can happen, and 1 out of 4,000 kids can have cerebellar ataxia, meaning the eyeballs have nystagmus, their instability, they will not be able to sit and walk, they behave like a drunken person, and recovery is a rule. Almost every kid recovers from that. And varicella pneumonia can also happen in few cases. When that happens, that's probably end stage disease. This chickenpox virus has a very peculiar character. Once you get the disease, this virus stays in your back of the spinal cord for lifetime. Whenever your immunity goes down with a chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or a high fever lasting for many days, or with increasing age, disease just comes back in the form of shingles or herpes zoster, also called as Sarpsuttu in Kannada. Treatment of chickenpox is only symptomatic. You have rash and itch, and each preparations has to be given. If you have fever, anti-fever medicines, and hydration is very important, and antiviral treatment as soon as possible. If antiviral treatment is started within 24 hours of onset of rash, the disease severity and the number of rashes comes down significantly. How do we prevent chickenpox from happening? A simple vaccine given in 2 doses reduces the incidence of chickenpox by 95 to 98%. It also reduces the incidence of herpes zoster as an adult. Though chickenpox is a simple disease, it causes a lot of panic, anxiety, and frequent visits to the doctors, sometimes requiring admissions, sometimes a lot of money is incurred. To reduce all of that significantly, a simple vaccine can help in a great deal. Before I sign off, please put that in comment box that how many of you have suffered, or some of your family members who have suffered with the herpes zoster. Just let me know in the comment box. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and share that among your friends so that the knowledge is passed on.